Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the Monday edition of TVC Breakfast. I am Veronica Danny Boy, and this morning I am here with Theophilus Ilama. Theo, good morning.
Good morning, Veronica. Please pardon my voice. The weekend was so
exciting. Right.
Yes. In Gen Z language, it was lit.
No, it was lit. I get.
TVC Games was one of a kind. Well, I say the best so far.
Right,
yes,
right.
So,
it was. I could see the frenzy, everything. But it's good that we have something like that, you know,
true.
Trying to bring everyone together. But before we have an array of issues this morning that we will be looking at, and we'll first begin with this story that you just saw the video there about the United Nigeria flight that also generated some controversy over the weekend. So let's begin from there. It was a shock for passengers on a United Nigeria flight NUA 0504, which took off from Lagos and was expected to land in Abuja, but found themselves at Asaba Airport. Immediately after the aircraft landed at the Asaba Airport, the cabin crew announced to the excited passengers that they had landed in Abuja. Now, as they looked through the aircraft windows, the reality dawned on them that they were actually in Asaba and not Abuja, which bore the boarding pass they were holding, and one that was originally their destination. The airline, in a swift reaction, attributed the flight diversion to Asaba International Airport due to poor destination weather. Now, despite a trending social media post made by a passenger on the United Nigeria Airline that a flight en route Abuja landed in Asaba owing to a wrong flight plan given to the pilot, the airline denied the allegation, saying the pilot of the aircraft was aware of the temporary diversion and was properly briefed. The airline added that the affected aircraft has since landed safely in Abuja. And in the statement put forward by the airline, they also said that it was the fault of the cabin crew who made a wrong announcement as against the pilot not knowing about the diversion. But a majority of Nigerians have begun to question, okay, if there was a diversion due to poor weather conditions, why didn't the pilot announce to the passengers that this is why we are diverting, you know, the flight to Asaba? As against going straight ahead to Abuja as originally planned, which is the original destination. So many questions have sprung up as a result of this.
Yes, especially with the fact that we talk about proper service delivery. It looks like the airline took the passengers for granted for not telling them they were diverting to Abuja, to Asaba rather, due to the poor weather condition in Abuja. And so if that was documented, if that was done, then we wouldn't have had all of these issues. But that wasn't done. And they got to Asaba and the airline announced that they were in Abuja. You know, it caused a lot of, if you're on social media, a lot of people reacted to the whole situation because it was surprising. Imagine the passengers had gotten out of the plane and got into the main hall and they realized that they're in Asaba. What would they have done? Would they have taken them back? So these are the kind of questions a lot of people have asked them because proper service delivery needs to be number one when it comes to, because it also, you know, when you book a flight, so people always say they prefer morning flights because it's never cancelled. First flight. It's never cancelled. Yes, but the next flights and other flights in the day, if your flight is like 12 noon, God bless you or God help you that. It's not moved.
It's not cancelled.
It's not cancelled without your permission. Sometimes you're already at the airport.
No, they don't need your permission to cancel.
That's the problem.
That's
the problem. Sometimes you're already at the airport and you hear the flight has been
So
cancelled.
that brings me to the matter of proper communication in service delivery. Now, if you know that you are going to delay a flight or cancel a flight, you have the passengers' details to send
phone numbers,
a message to say we are going to delay the flight. Now, with regards to this one, proper communication wasn't done. If they said that the pilot was briefed originally, then the pilot also needs to take the fall with regards to this because he did not brief the passengers that this is the reason why we are diverting the flight to Asaba. it was the cabin crew, because I know we all have taken flights here and there, and we know that the pilot will always communicate, okay, this is the situation, this is the weather condition. It is the pilot that gives that information.
What if
right?
he was told not to give the information?
So fine. Now they are saying it's the cabin crew, and they are saying that he was properly informed.
He was informed. Was he told to tell? Because it's part of their training, quite right. But if the people at the back end had said, do not announce this, maybe for business reasons.
But then, so the cabin crew now went ahead to make the announcement.
When they got to Asaba, that they were in Abuja. They made the wrong announcement.
They made the wrong announcement. So there is some level of controversy here.
Yes.
If you say, because based on their statement, if you are saying you properly briefed, this is what I'm saying, if you properly briefed the pilot, then the pilot has to take some blame in this issue.
True.
Because he did not. You are supposed to tell your passengers what is going on. That is supposed to be standard procedure as a trained pilot. You should know what is going on with the weather, how soon we are about to land, what's the condition on the ground. All of those information you should pass across to your passengers. This is how your passengers can repose some confidence in your services.
Yes.
That's what it is. If they do not know, then they should know now. So if the pilot was told not to communicate, why?
Sadly, a lot of these airlines are culpable in this kind of situation. Not just United Nigeria, many others too. We've had situations where people complain about different airlines and their different services.
Yes.
The different services they give. Like we also mentioned, the communication issues where you just get to the airport and you realize your flight has been cancelled and you have to come back. Sometimes you get to there, your flight is for like maybe 8 p.m.
Recently, when we went to Abuja for the off-cycle elections, I recall that while we were at the airport, because we had to take the first flight, a man had come to the airport. That was at about +7, and he was told, then there was this announcement that his flight was going to be delayed for about 4 hours, that the flight was now going to be for, I think, 2 o'clock or 12 o'clock, something like that. And he was like, so I have to wait here for about 4 hours. Now, if you saw the video that was trending on social media with regards to this matter, someone was saying there that he has a connecting flight. Everybody have their time scheduled. Now, if he had known, yes, we know that one issue or the other, the weather could change and all of it, but proper communication.
So imagine the said man you're talking about. Now, his flight has been moved by 4 hours. He will be made to wait at the airport. He
had to wait
for that time. Now, if he gets to the point close to boarding time, they announce again. He say the same flight has been moved to another 2 hours, by another 2 hours. Where do you expect him to go?
He will stay at the airport.
Still stay at the airport.
Yes.
There ought to be provisions for these things. If your flight is going to be delayed 2, 3, 4 hours, make a provision for a resting bay or a hotel for the person to rest.
Absolutely.
But there are times that some people have flights for 8 p.m. and they get there, it's moved to 11 p.m. And the next thing they said, no, you come back the next day. You expect the person to go back home. And
in fact, recently, with regards to this matter of flight cancellation and all of the challenges witnessed with the transportation, on talking about airline transportation, someone posted about, now this is an international issue, so her flight was delayed somewhere, so she had to stay, I think they had to sleep over at the airport or so, and so she took the matter on social media. And the airline reached out to her, they compensated her. And then she now went to dig up information and realized that, oh, there are compensations for issues like this. So what we now have to begin to do is to look at the laws. Are there compensations for issues like this with diversion and delays and all of the challenges we face when it comes to the airlines and all of that, the challenges that, in fact, luggage getting missing or things being stolen from luggage, the luggage of passengers, and all of those challenges, are there compensations? What is the law saying about these things? We need to begin to look at the laws so as we can put pressure on these people to do the needful.
There are compensations for these things. Just
to do the needful.
These airlines just refuse, just turn a blind eye onto these things and do not give you that proper.
It's not enough to just call them out. That's what I'm saying now. Like what that lady said, she got compensation. She was able to speak to 1 or 2 persons who were on the same flight with regards to, oh, this is what the law says. If your flight is delayed beyond 3 hours.
You're talking about abroad. you're talking about a place where
standard
procedures are observed. Where here, like I watched a comedian one time said he went to the UK and he was supposed to go take a flight within the UK, and his flight was delayed. I think they gave him about £200 just for the delay.
This lady got 1,000 Canadian dollars.
Just for the delay, to apologize.
It must have been beyond 3 hours.
Yes.
So for issues like this, bottom line, because we need to wrap up this conversation now, for me, it is that the image of the organization is at stake. And so they must do everything possible to ensure that they communicate clearly to their passengers in case of any other situation. Yes, the safety of passengers and the crew is critical, but if you know you want to divert a flight, I think you must ensure that you communicate clearly such that your passengers are taking along for every decision you intend to take.